Hi, my name is Renee Allen, and I am the chair of the Exeter Energy Committee. This is the third in our series of heat pump webinars. Tonight, we're going to be presenting, Amy Farnham of the Energy Committee is going to be presenting on heat pumps, and I am going to help answer questions. And we do have an attendee, so we're ready to go live. And heat pumps are one of the most efficient modes of heat you can use for your house. And in addition, it's also an air conditioner, so it's kind of a double duty. So this is a quick seminar. It's only about 30 minutes, and take it away, Amy.
Okay, well, thank you, Renee. Typically I do a little spiel, but because I know we have one attendee and it's John Flewelling, I thought maybe I could just speak to John face to face, sort of. Are we able to do that?
Yeah, if you just give me one.
Okay. And John, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you are the only one here, so we might as well customize this to what you're looking for.
Yeah, it gets to be very personal. Yep.
Should be rejoining as a panelist in just a moment.
Oh, cool.
Hey there.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Were you hoping to be anonymous tonight?
Yeah, because we're not anywhere near doing it. I was just curious, get a little more information about it. That's all.
Yeah. Yep.
We have the hot water heat pump coming in a week and a half.
Is it? Nice.
Yep. So that's kind of probably our budget for now, and this is more of a 5 years down the road thing.
Right. Right.
And I know we talked about it briefly because you said you really need to have a secondary or backup heat source in addition to the pump. And I'd like to get off oil altogether. So I was thinking of maybe seeing if we go to a wood stove as an emergency backup, but primarily use the heat pump to heat the house. And our house is small. I mean, as you know, it's only about 1,200 square feet. So I didn't know if capacity-wise, how many pumps we might need and that sort of thing.
What do you know about insulation?
Just did the
audit.
The audit, and we had them install $5,000 worth of insulation. So we should be super tight now.
Oh, that's amazing. Was it in the basement, attic, both?
Both. Yep. They did the foam on the walls in the basement.
Yep. And
then they put a bunch of blown-in insulation in the attic, and then weather tightened all the doors and just the doors, I guess. Yeah.
Wow.
So the program was a 90% credit, so all we paid was 10% of the whole thing. Paid $500.
That's amazing that they're doing that right now. I'm telling everybody I know to get on there and do it. If you're eligible.
I think it's rolled back to 50% now, payment.
Yeah, that's what it used to be.
Yeah,
I don't know what this was special was that they had, but it's phenomenal.
Oh, I know. So it was 50% for all these years, and we got it at 50%. But then when COVID struck, people just shut down and nobody was doing anything. So they had all this money they needed to spend by the end of the year inside that program because it's funded every year. And so they said 90%. I was like, whoa. So that'll be over.
Lucky.
So lucky you. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. So are you noticing a difference already?
I did just order more oil today. I was hoping I was going to get through with just one tank this year, but I think I'll be able to tell by the end of the winter whether we saved some. I can't imagine we haven't. The basement is now running at 70 degrees, whereas before it was, probably 55 or 60.
Yeah.
So we have steam heat and the furnace in the basement, so all that heat is staying down there and coming up, instead of going out the walls. So
the heat pump water heater will take it down a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's okay, right? That's a little bit less oil.
That's right. Yep.
Yep.
So,
So that's
get off of all the fossil fuels as fast as we can, and
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so.
And so who did that? Was it Yankee Thermal or Green Cocoon?
Yankee. Yeah.
Okay, good. And you had a good experience?
Pretty good. Emma was in her bedroom doing school, and they were outside her window drilling holes, and people were all over the house. So it was a little chaotic, but
Yeah.
we kind of knew it was going to be like that.
Right.
But they got it
They're
all
not
done
used
in a day and a half, I think. So it was pretty good.
That's great. Well, yeah, so that will absolutely change, the heat load for the house and what you will require. So that's one of the things we do is come in and we can do just sort of a general basic heat load analysis of the house based on looking around at the insulation and sort of what you report to us. But if you really wanted to get off oil and not have a backup or have just a wood stove as a backup, it's probably worth it to do something called a manual J, which is a very detailed heat load analysis. So we have an engineer in Portland that does it. So basically, I go around in your house, or I don't know how we do it right now. I guess I would ask for a lot of help from you. But since this is down the road, we could probably do this. I could come in and basically I'm measuring every room, every wall, every window. I'm basically trying to gather enough data to build your home on paper for this person to take and run through the software. And they really get an idea of where you need the heat and how much of it.
Okay.
So a lot of times people will supplement with, a heat pump, a head here and a head here. But if you're really trying to get off fossil fuels, it requires a little bit of, we need to put a little strip of radiant in your laundry room or your bathroom for those times where it is just cold enough that the heat pump units, wherever they aren't reaching all the way into these cavities and these spaces that have water, water pipes that are in danger.
Okay.
So that's something we'd want to do. I think it's worth it for you. But I mean, I'm happy to go through the basics. Do you want me to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me share my screen, and I apologize. Sometimes I struggle with this. Oh, let's see. What are you seeing now? The Exeter website?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you seeing this?
Yeah.
In thumbnail form or larger?
It's large enough. It's like most of the screen.
Okay. So basically the way that they work, and this might be overly basic, but there is no combustion happening in this system. So you have this outdoor condensing unit and an indoor head. And between these two is a pipe with a closed loop of refrigerant. So when the refrigerant is in the condensing unit is pulling heat from the air outside and can get heat out of that air down to negative 13 degrees and heats the refrigerant, which then travels up to the indoor head where there is air from the room itself, from your house, is just being pulled in and blown over hot coils.
Oh.
So there's no, some people think it's like a forced hot air system where there's going to be drier air, but it's not, it's whatever is in your house already. So it's blowing over these hot coils and it's creating heat that way. And while the air is blowing over these coils, that those are cooling down, the refrigerant is cooling down and condensing and going back down to the outdoor unit and then it starts over again. So it's really just this loop. In AC mode, it's doing the opposite. So it's going from, heat to cooling inside. It is removing humidity. So there is a condensate line also coming out from this pipe here. So the condensate line may stick out up high, it may come down here and stick out, but it's basically just clear PEX tube that's dripping water outside in AC mode. So yeah, in this pipe is the refrigerant and the power and the condensate line. So it's about a 2.5 inch wide pipe here, and it's bendable and it travels all over the house. So, you can go from this outdoor unit pretty far to where you want the indoor unit. So there's a lot of flexibility in terms of they don't have to be right back to back or next to each other. I think the efficiency goes down a little bit the further you go, but it's not really a risk until you're, over like 50 feet away.
Okay.
So you can travel pretty far. It's nice to have the condensing unit in a spot, one that works for you, that you don't mind seeing it. This one in this picture, it's on a pad, but we put it on a stand on top of a pad just to keep it out of snow. We typically like to keep it under a gable edge so that it's not getting dripped on. It certainly can get dripped on, but it'll be a little healthier if it's not.
Yeah.
So let's see, I've got some more pictures. So this is the outdoor head. So you've probably seen these, right, John? Have you seen them around?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are getting them, actually.
Yeah, there are more and more now. We are pretty slow to get them in this country, but certainly a lot of new construction is going this way, especially when they can build these homes just super tight, and you don't need many BTUs at all for new construction, better than code kind of insulation.
Yeah.
So these units, the outdoor unit is really what's driving the size of it. This one right here in particular looks like it might be an 18,000, maybe even a 20,000 BTU unit. So we look at, as I said, we look at the room sizes, we look at sort of the airflow in your house, we look at where do you spend the most time. A lot of people want to just do one of these. And so, if they have a kind of open kitchen and living room area, that's the obvious place for it. So you can just do one there, one outdoor unit. But a lot of people want to do, in the master and the other bedroom. So the cost of these systems is really driven by the number of indoor heads, not outdoor. So you can do up to 8 indoor heads off of one outdoor unit.
Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Each indoor unit it's got its own little remote and you can set it at separate temperatures. But if you truly want to zone your spaces, you probably would want to do separate outdoor units. So we can get into a little bit of that, but they can be a 1-to-1, just one outdoor, one indoor, or you can do multiple indoors.
Okay.
You can see this one here is double fan, double size. So this has probably, up to 4, maybe 8 units off of this. But here's the pad and the stand. At this size, it has to have a branch box inside. So a branch box is a distribution center. So the reason why you don't see the pipes climbing up the side of this house is because it's all going inside to a branch box. And from there, the lines are coming out and coming up to their indoor head.
So do they go through like the interior walls in that case?
They can, yeah. It's a little bit more work, especially trying to get the condensate line to get out somehow. Mm-hmm. It's nice if you have one wall bay that you can kind of travel up and it ends up in the basement, so you can sort of drip the condensate back down. But to do an interior line, you really are, more invasive. So you're sort of tearing holes in the walls just to fish line up through it.
Yep.
So it is definitely possible. It's just a little bit more expensive, more labor.
Yep. Okay.
So here's a single unit. So one indoor unit. So we cover the pipe here with this material called line hide, and it looks like gutter downspout, sort of. It's just a fiberglass. It's paintable, so you can sand it up and paint it. Or like me, you say you're going to do that and then never do. You just stop seeing it after a while.
Right.
Oh, this is my neighbor's house, so they actually had theirs painted, so you can see.
Yeah.
It looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
I'll tell you in a couple years how it looks. That was last year. So yeah, here's more multiple. So this one obviously came into the basement, into a branch box, and then sort of along probably the ceiling of the basement, and then popped out to come up to these other units. So that's another option.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, we try to put them under gable ends or under a deck is great. If you don't have a gable end, or if the best space is really under a drip edge, that's fine too. We can add a rain hood to it, so it just kind of takes a little bit of the water off of it. Some people make their own hoods as well, sort of like little roofs over them.
Yep.
They can be installed on the foundation like this. They do have a little bit of vibration, the outdoor unit. So we don't recommend installing them on a wall. You can install them right on the side of the house as well. We don't typically do that because of the vibration.
Okay.
So if you're in a living room or a bedroom, you might hear it a little bit on the other side of the wall. Here's a homemade roof.
Yeah.
Another one. But yeah, so the indoor units are, we mostly do Mitsubishi. There's a lot of other great brands out there. LG, Daikin, Fujitsu is a really good one. Mitsubishi right now is sort of the industry leader just because it has figured out the cold climate, the way to sort of heat in a cold climate, where the other ones are still, if I'm right, about 20 to 0 degrees is the lowest they go for heat.
Okay.
But the indoor units have all sorts of bells and whistles, and there's different models. Some are more simple, some, are a better application for a room that has maybe a hallway, or, it's not exactly a rectangle. So some of these indoor units have these eyes that scan the room. They've got 8 eyes, and they're actually constantly scanning the room for pockets or areas that aren't up to temp. So if you set your house, you set it at 68, and there's, a window that happens to be a little leaky or something, it's going to sense that and send heat that way until it's up to temp.
Oh, wow.
It wants to be satisfied. So there's that. There's all sorts of settings in terms of the vanes, the vents inside. They go back and forth this way. So if you, let's say, had a room here and a room here, and you wanted the unit in the middle, it could do this sweeping motion and actually treat both rooms.
Okay.
But there's simple ones that are more affordable for bedrooms and such that don't have all of those little bells and whistles. But yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I didn't catch. How cold did you say they stopped working at, or does that depend on brand?
Yeah, so Mitsubishi is -13. I think Fujitsu has gotten down to 0, and I want to say the other ones are still around 20.
20 degrees above.
Yeah, above, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so is the Mitsubishi more expensive than the others because they have that figured out?
Likely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for this climate, if you really do want heat for it, it's the one to go with, and so they do kind of have that edge.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They're also, what was I going to say? I don't remember. There's floor units as well. So, if you don't have a good spot on the wall, or if you just don't like them, a lot of people just don't like the look of them.
Yeah.
So it's the kind of thing. There's one behind me, as you can see. When you first have it, it's pretty big. It's 3 feet long. Mm-hmm. It's about 12 inches high, and it comes out off the wall, about 9 inches. So you walk in a room and you say, wow, and then you stop seeing it.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
other
right.
things, once the room's nice and warm, or once it's nice and cool, then you're just happy it's there.
Hey, Amy, can I jump in for a minute here?
Sure.
I don't know. Can you see me? I can only
Yep.
see you.
Yeah. Yep.
So I have this thing that I picked up. You probably have these all over the place, but so you can take this to your house, right? And this is the exact size.
It's not quite the exact size. It's almost, yeah.
Well, it's supposed to be the exact
Yeah.
size or almost. So anyway, you can just pin it to the wall, like pin the tail on the donkey, and kind of get used to the look of it, or see if it is correctly placed, or I don't know. I think this is a kind of a fun thing to have, and that's the kind of thing you can just mail off to somebody so they can kind of get the flavor of how it's going to look in their house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's true. That's a cool little tool. And they make black ones and silver ones. Most of them are white. You pay a little more for the fancy ones. But
The floorboard ones, what do those look like? They look like
the what?
the ones that go along the floor.
Oh, the floor. Let me.
Okay.
So it sort of looks like, I don't know if you're familiar with like a kerosene, like K1 or a propane heater like that.
Yep. Okay. Or electric space heater type thing.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So the indoor units are pretty quiet. You can crank them up and they're still, even at their top notch, not very loud at all. Nothing like a window AC unit.
Okay.
And that's what's kind of nice about them in AC mode. I don't know if you guys use AC, but it's loud. It takes up a window. It's heavy. It's
Yeah.
You don't strike me as AC users.
No, we don't have any AC. Just fans.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I'm not even sure we would use this in the summertime, but I might be tempted to. Heather probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I put mine on just dehumidify, that setting, and that's all it does is it just takes the humidity out of the air. I don't need it to be cold. I'm pretty happy when there's no humidity in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I use them. Mine in particular, I have kind of played around with, and we got some insulation done on our house through that New Hampshire Saves program, but it was the 50-50 program, and we could only afford so much. So we didn't get everything, and we certainly could do more, especially with windows. I know that they say windows are not the most important thing, and they're not, but they also do play a role, and we have some very old single pane windows. So when I use mine in the winter, there is a time when they're just not keeping up. And I've got the heat pump water heater in the basement and my boiler completely off. All of a sudden, my basement is colder, which means the floors of my first floor are colder. I can sort of almost see the heat going up and out, and it's not really warming us on the first floor. So the first year we had them, we really tried to play with them and see what we could do, and our electric bill got pretty high. So for us, until we add more insulation, until we change out our windows, they are more of a 9-month kind of operation for us.
Okay. Now, is it possible to have enough solar to do that in addition to everything else? Because I know right now we have it sized, right? I think with our solar to cover, we were definitely had a positive, return every year. And with the water heater we're adding, we'll probably eat up that difference.
Yeah.
If we added this on, do you have any ballpark idea how many more panels we would need to? Because I don't want to be buying electricity either. I'd rather buy more panels if we could.
Right. And this is only as clean as the source of its energy, right?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on where those panels are going first. That would.
Right, because we already used up both sides of our house, and I'm almost wondering if if we needed to put something south facing in the backyard, like ground mounted.
I mean, honestly, I'm hoping by the time you get these that we have community solar farms and you could just buy into one of those. Or we have community power, and all the power we get would be from clean energy. But
that would be great.
We'll see about that. But right, so if you were, let's say you had a great south-facing, area in your yard without much shade. Gosh, it totally depends, but it's probably, another, let's see, for, what'd you say, 1,200 square feet?
Yeah.
All right, let me do a little math. So 1,200, and you're at about, how old's your house?
1910.
Okay. So you probably went from like a 25 to a 15 maybe. So you'd be looking at 18,000 BTUs. But since you want to do your whole house, it's probably going to be more like 24. 24,000 BTUs to get that. Jeez. I'm going to have to do more math than I'm able to do right now, but
that's okay.
But, maybe 10, 15 panels.
Yeah, so not a small addition.
No.
Not adding 5 on somewhere.
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
And if you just wanted heat heat is the larger load of these anyways. So
yeah, that would make sense.
Using them for AC is almost nothing. And you could tell Heather that, this is guilt-free AC right here.
Sun-powered,
yeah.
Okay.
But it's worth looking into, and hopefully there is a better source for solar down the road.
Yeah, that would be ideal if it was community-based solar, and you weren't,
Have you heard about that?
I know from my office in Cambridge, Mass, that's our company has gone that route.
Okay. Like with a third party, you mean?
Yeah, they're buying electricity from a solar provider, but they know where it's coming from and paying.
So New Hampshire has, the governor passed something in 2019 saying that we could do community power, which means that towns can actually purchase electricity themselves, sort of cutting out the middleman and buying it wholesale. And they would buy it for all the residents. And if you wanted to opt out, you could, but everyone else is opted in. By default, you're opted in. And so for you, as a resident of Exeter, let's say, if we did that, you would either pay the same amount you're paying now or less. And Exeter can choose, if they want, to have 100% of that come from renewable sources. So this is something we've been working on in the Energy Committee for a while now. And now sort of the utilities, Eversource in particular, has come up with this bill to sort of fight it. And now we're all fighting, about what we're allowed to do. So stay tuned.
All right. Well, I'm full support of that.
Yeah.
And what's the latest on the solar array at the landfill?
Yeah.
Did the select board choose to buy it outright?
Yes, buy it outright, cash, thank goodness, because that was the best economics.
Yeah.
So they're getting, they're doing a bond, and so it's going on as a warrant article, and it needs 2/3 support.
Okay.
So what? Oh, Renee's saying no, 60%. What is it?
All right. It needs 3/4. 3/5. I'm sorry. It needs 3/5. It needs 3/5. I'm sorry. I can't speak tonight, but yeah, it needs 3/5 to pass and go on. And we're pretty confident in it because it really is a win-win situation. There's no tax impact. It creates money for the town. It's all good. So you'll get a chance to vote on it.
I'll definitely be voting on that.
But spread the word, because I talk to people all the time and they have no idea about this. And I worry a little bit that they just don't understand it and feel like it's going to cost that, it's going to raise their taxes. So try to get the word out where you can that this will not have an impact.
We had some high school kids walk in the neighborhood last weekend handing out information about it.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Was it the
Yeah.
new student liaison to the Energy Committee, Camille?
Yeah.
Yay, Camille.
I think it was
I
Camille.
figured she'd go over there between you guys and Joni, just like you
Right.
said, Renee.
Yeah, great. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
brand new to our committee, so we're lucky to have a student voice on our committee all of a sudden. So good for Camille.
Yeah, and I understand she was trying to do something at the high school too for more solar at the high school.
She is. Yeah, we're working on that together.
Cool.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. Her parents are good models for her.
They are. Yeah, that's for sure.
Cool. Well, I think those are all my questions, and we're at 7:31, so that is your half-hour commitment.
Yeah, well, let me know what other questions come up. You know, I'm glad to help you guys anytime, as you know. I'm right down the street.
All right. Well, we love Revision Energy, and I appreciate all the work you guys are doing for the town. It's going in the right direction. So
Yeah,
thank you.
it's exciting.
Thank you, Jonathan.
All right. Have a good night.
Okay,
All right,
bye-bye.
you too.
And for the people out there, as we close, Amy and I have decided to do this once a month. So we're going to pick some dates in the spring. So we'll continue this through the spring. So you can come on and ask your questions. Just check our Facebook for the dates as soon as we decide them. Okay?
All right.
All right. Thank you, Amy.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Before you guys go, we do have one other attendee in the audience that has a question.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Kathleen Sadkowski. I didn't even know. Okay.
Oh, what can I do to? Oh, okay. Sorry, Kathleen.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah.
So she would like to chat. Daniel, can we make that happen?
Yeah, there
Yep.
she is.
Oh,
Her
good.
microphone should be live right now.
Can you hear us?
Hear you. I don't think you can hear me.
She's very low. Maybe speak closer to your microphone.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit.
See, I always have a problem with Zoom because I can't talk and like other people can talk. I don't know what I should press.
Oh, that's okay. We can hear you now. So if we lean in, I don't know. So go ahead. Ask your question, Kathleen.
Okay, well, I have two of the Mitsubishi wall units.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I'm coming through.
Now, I heard you. You said you have two of the Mitsubishi wall units, and then what?
They were installed in mid-December of 2020, so I've really just had them for this winter. And I like them very much. They heat my house. I've also had insulation put in.
We lost her for a minute, but she said that she likes them. They heat her house. She had insulation put in.
If you can hear us, Kathleen, maybe type it out. Or I'm going to put my email address in here so you can contact me directly.
That might be the better way to go, Amy, because I can't hear her at all. She kind of clicked off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Kathleen. Well, if you can hear us, sorry that it didn't work out. She's gone. All right.
Well, maybe, hopefully she saw your email in the chat. And if she didn't, maybe I can get a hold of her email through Daniel so that we can contact her back. Because maybe her network went out or something. Her internet went out because now she's gone altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll keep trying.
Okay.
All right. So let's wind it up.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
We'll see
Bye.
you next month.